Hey everyone, this is Christian C. And in this module, we're going to talk about depression. Now, depression is complex. It's a complex issue because it encompasses many different types of energy blocks, meaning that there's not just one way or one issue when it comes to depression. It could be a mixture of things, and it's never the same for everyone. It's always different, and it affects people differently. For some people, depression feels like a never-ending flu, and its grip can be so strong that you can't even function properly or think in a straight manner. It feels as if there is a looming cloud overhead, as if there's something really bad that is about to happen, or perhaps it already happened and you continue to replay that. Anyhow, there's different scenarios when it comes to depression and what makes us feel depressed. It could be something from our past, something that we're currently going through, or something that we're anxious and think about within our future that gets us depressed. And it becomes difficult to balance energy, especially my energy, and have any foresight into what would happen next, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week, next month. So depression clouds your mind. It goes with other symptoms other than depression. That is, it brings upon anxiety, perhaps brain fog, not being able to sleep, your body feeling restless, becoming more tired, migraines especially. That's something that I faced a lot before, is dealing with heavy migraines that just wouldn't go away. And at times they were interlaced or interrelated with symptoms of depression. So foresight is such an essential thing, having that ability to gain foresight of what is going to happen. And it gives us humans the ability to feel sort of comfort, to feel that tomorrow will be okay. It assures us that we will make it through the next day, next week, next month. And as humans, we need that feeling in order to move forward. We need that feeling of intent, of having clarity and focus, whether it is anxiety, depression, or whether it is other mixture of bad emotions. Oftentimes we lose that sense of our forward intent. And I noticed this quite often when I would feel somewhat in a haze, lost, and I was very low vibrational. I began to notice that the minute I got out of that rut, the minute my energy began to go up, and the minute I began to be more high vibrational, there was this sort of click within my solar plexus, or just within my body itself. I just felt this sort of shift in energy. My energy shifted. In just that moment where my energy shifted, I felt that, and I knew that it was real. So this brings me to the point that oftentimes our energy, when it's lost, it might be all over the place. Therefore, I always talk about bringing your energy to your solar plexus. So it's in one place, it's relaxed, it's focused. And from that moment on, you can just have that forward intent. If possible, consciously create that click, and then perhaps subconsciously create it as well, in order for that energy to shift from one of being lost to one of moving onward with forward intent and towards our ascension journey. So foresight for me is like energy within my plexus that assures me that things will be all right tomorrow, regardless of how bad things get now. And one thing to keep in mind is that when we give too much awareness to our energy blocks and our darkness, and we give too much awareness to our low vibrational energy, it creates this hollow echo, this sort of hollow echo chamber of dark energy that radiates within us and all over our body, not just in our solar plexus. And oftentimes, we already know what the source of this dark energy, of this low vibrations are. Oftentimes, we try to get out of it from a mental framework, meaning we try to think our way out of it. And we have to keep in mind that perhaps that's not the best way to get out of it. And perhaps we need to combine our energy from within our ego and our higher self in order to subconsciously depart and get away from that depressive state, from that dark energy. If it helps you, write down your thoughts on your journal. Write down your experiences, your insights, your foresights, and perhaps you could use that to be a part of a process that will bring you attainment of healing and higher vibrational energy. So if it is helpful, write it down. Try writing down things and see if there are any sort of things that you could connect with that will further get you out of that rut. Understand that we cannot live a life without storms. We have to be ready for them. We have to be ready for when they appear. We have to be ready for when they disappear. We have to have a plan. So once we feel better, we know what else we could do. We can make a plan and say, well, that day when the rain goes away, this is what I intend to do. And we have to keep thriving when things are going well in order to ascend. If we're not ascending, then we have to address those issues that are preventing us from ascending. And not just address them from a mental or a framework mind in which we try to think our way out of them, but rather from within our energy of duality, from within our ego and our higher self, and also finding a way through which subconsciously we can break away from those chains that grips us, those anchors of energy blocks that hold us down, and they are littered with energy of being in a dark state, being in a depressive mood, being in depression. Being in that low vibrational energy can last anywhere for some of us from a day to a week to months and so forth. But understand that we cannot fix a problem with the same energy in which it was created. And sorry, I don't remember who said that originally. It's a famous quote that if we cannot fix the problems in the same way in which they were created, but we can become aware of them and we can face them and say, just because I'm dealing with this does not mean that I can't break away from this. Just because this is something that I am experiencing right now does not mean that this is how it will be forever. Energy always changes. It never stays on the same level. It either plateaus or is going up and ascending. And eventually, yes, we want our energy to ascend. So we have techniques, we have insights, we have meditational routes that we could use. But let's face it, sometimes we don't want to change. There's something within us that does not want to change, and it just grips us. And such energy oftentimes deals with anxiety. Sometimes it deals with depression or even anger. But if we become aware of the different energy blocks, of these different things that are severely affecting us, and we become more aware of how it changes, because even within a day, your energy will fluctuate from one of being in severe mode, perhaps severe depression, to where that begins to drift away and you feel a little bit better. And we have to come conscious of that and say, well, what is it that made that happen? Because we might not know it at first, but subconsciously there might be an action or a shift within our energy that created perhaps the slightest bit of change. And we begin to record that. We begin to record what works, and we begin to expand upon it. And perhaps there's some other things that need to change, other bigger issues that we need to get over, fix. But nonetheless, if we begin step by step to get ourselves in the right frame of mind, in the right energy, and we start to have higher vibrational energy, then we begin to find ways that we can gain ascension. Once we begin to gain ascension, even if we're still dealing with the same energy blocks, the same blocks that were preventing us from moving forward in our journey, once we begin to gain ascension, it's like just there's an energy that completely shifts within us. There's that click of intent. And suddenly that multiplies and it begins to multiply even more. And we begin to feel more confident. We begin to feel more secure. We begin to feel that more things are possible. And that's what we want to strive for. We don't want to strive for a complete fix of the problem at first, but just striving for that 1 inch at a time, that gain, one step at a time. And if we gain that ground, we will be able to further gain more ground. And not just on a ground level, but also the ability to fly and ascend. So if we must crawl, then crawl. Once we get the chance to walk, let's begin walking. Once we can run, we will run. And once we are able to fly, let's fly and ascend. And I know that this module is more on the broad basis of such a topic such as depression and might not really give you the best answers that you're seeking, but understand that this is just a ground level module in which I explain certain processes that you can use along with the overall law of duality process, all the techniques, insights, experiences. So allow yourself to take in what works while not taking in things that you feel might not work for you. Allow yourself to tap more towards your higher self, all the good things your higher self provides, all the insights, all that elevation and energy that will come to you. And if nothing else, I just want to say that whenever we're facing darkness, whenever we're going through depression, there's that feeling that nothing is going to work out, that nothing is going to work in our favor, and that we're screwed and it's over. But understand that it's never really over. Things just go through a process of evolution. We go through a process in which we grow and our energy transcends. Even when dealing with serious issues such as death or missing someone, understand that people don't really die. Their energy just transcends on a universal level, and their energy continues to evolve through the universe. And whether you believe in things such as reincarnation or any topics similar to that, understand that there is so much more that we don't understand, and it's okay not to understand everything. It's okay not to know the whole process of how our energy works or how the universe works. But understand that the universe and all the higher vibrations that are there will come to you at the right time. Right when you feel that it's over, things will shift. Things that you thought were impossible will begin to happen, and you will realize that there is a much higher force that is looking out for you. And I often attribute that to being my higher self. I often attribute that higher force of being that universal energy. And whether you are religious or not, you can attribute that to your own religion, to your God. And that is what is so wonderful about law of duality and energy of duality, that you could architect it and you could build your own blueprint that fits exactly the ideal journey that you are creating. Because ultimately, this is all about the journey, about my journey, your journey, and how those journeys have such a magic that it's not just about us, but it's about other mysterious energies that we do not fully comprehend or that we could not fully hold, but nonetheless they are there within us. They are there looking out for us, and they are there guiding us. So with that, I hope that this module serves you in any way. And if I could be of further help, please feel free to contact me if you have any specific questions. And this topic is one that I didn't want to include because I know it's a serious topic, one that perhaps requires more of a medical background or experience. But I just wanted to give you my insights on how perhaps I have dealt and will further deal with such a topic when the time comes, because this is something that naturally we face through our journey. And I just wanted to give you these insights, and if they help, great. If they don't help, then please feel free to see if anything else with this program might help you, even if I have to personally answer your questions and connect with you. I'm here for you. I hope that your journey continues to blossom.